What's going on? It's Elusive here, and we are back with another K24 video. We had a lot recently, so if you guys missed the last videos, make sure you guys check them out to this point. That way you guys can get updated to this point where we're at. We got the K20 out of the Red RSX. Now we're just doing work on the K24, getting it ready to put in, putting stuff off the K20 onto the K24. But today's video in specific, we are going to be putting on the K20 oil pump. We got it all ready, all set. My brother just helped me get it to top dead center. So as you can see, it's gonna be a little hard to see for you guys because it's pretty close, but everything is in time. Arrow here matches right here, and down below here, these two line up. So as it sits right now, it is currently timed, like from when I got it. So it's already timed, but now we're gonna obviously take it all off to put the K20 oil pump on. So here's the K20 oil pump. A lot smaller. My brother told me the reason why the K24 one is bigger is because it's got balance shafts in it. It's a bigger engine, and anything over a 2 liter comes factory with balance shafts, I guess, to help with stuff like that, vibrations and stuff. But as you know, not everything from the factory is needed, and today is that case. So here's the K20 oil pump that's going to be going on. It's already cut from the person I bought it from. I'm going to link it in the description. It's an entire kit. It comes with the pump, chain, guides, baffle. What else? All the bolts you're gonna need, it comes with. So it comes with everything you need in order to replace this for a K24 specifically. That way you don't gotta cut this at all. So if you don't buy it from them, you gotta take a cut here. You guys can see where the cut is right here, and it'll probably look pretty bad. That's why I did it through them. You can see right here, it wouldn't sit right on this if you don't cut it to fit, but just a little cut. It's not much. It's not very much material at all, but you can see if you don't do it with like a machine or something, it'll look pretty ghetto rigged. Even though you won't see it, it's just one of those things that could be pretty bad if you don't do it right. So yeah, we'll get started here. We're gonna take tensioner off for this chain here, and then for the main timing chain, we'll do that afterwards. So we're gonna get this chain off, this tensioner here, and then we'll go from there. It gotta be perfect, right? Just like
well, it needs to be perfect, but I use this to get all the big chunks off, and then I use it. Because if you don't have the surface exactly 100% clean, it's not gonna seal. So that's why I bought my bristle things out. It needs to be like shiny clean.
Shiny.
If you push too hard, it turns off. But I have it on the lowest setting. Basically, just want it nice and shiny like that. All the way around.
All right, so we got the K24 oil pump off. It's sitting over here. It obviously looks a little different than the K21. Some of the baffles are different too. The K21 is like one singular baffle. This one is like two pieces. So it's all off. And you can see we were just resurfacing, kind of getting all the Honda Bond off the seal part of it, so that way it'll actually seal. So yeah, it's all going pretty well. And then another tip too is there's going to be this guy. It's in what hole? This one. This guy sits in this hole here. It's something for the K24 oil pump only. So if you don't put a regular bolt in here, I'm pretty sure like an M8 bolt in here to replace it with Honda Bond, when you put the K21 in, you're going to lose oil pressure and stuff. I saw it on a thread somewhere when people were putting in the K20 oil pump, so make sure you do that, otherwise you're going to lose oil pressure. It's just something that only the K24 utilizes, something like that, so make sure you take it out. It's just like on an O-ring. You might have to hit it pretty good with a pick to get it out, but it's pretty easy to come out once it is out, depending on how much is chemically in there. So all you gotta do is just fill it with an M8 bolt. The kit I'm gonna put in the description is gonna have that bolt in it. This is gonna be like a regular M18 Honda bolt. So all you gotta do is put Honda Bond on the bolt and then put it in there.
Your baffle thing has to go on now, so
Does that go on? Yeah.
it's only gonna go on one way.
I just think it's funny how this one's so much bigger than the K24 one. How about that way? Sweet. And that's just probably the same kind of bolts. Obviously, it came with different hardware. I'm pretty sure they're all the same, it looks like on this one. The other ones, some were 12s, some were 10s. And you can see that hole is just perfectly aligned for that M8 bolt to go through. So that's good news. And like I said, if you don't get the cut one of this, so if you don't get the pre-cut one, you can see, even this is the cut one, and they did a pretty good job, it looks like. It all kind of matches pretty much. There's a little bit of a gap here, but for the most part, it all lines up pretty good. There's not like a clearance issue, obviously.
I'll walk back on. We got the impactor off. You can just leave it on, it doesn't matter.
So it's obviously a lot easier to take the fucking pump and twist it sideways to put the chain on than doing that, right?
Yeah, but I mean, yes, correct.
So it came with new guides, it's not new bolts for all the guides, so I just reused them. So oil pump's all on. Now we're gonna flip it over, and then we're gonna be doing the same thing we did to the bottom, getting all the Honda Bond off of the timing chain here. So using the wire wheel and then scraping all this down. So we're also replacing this gasket here. And you gotta take off this in order to get to this. This was the old one. As you can see, it's pretty fucked up. It was pretty dirty in there, we just cleaned it up. There's a lot of gunk in there. But this is gonna be the new one, and that was the old one. So it's a pretty cheap fix, you gotta get to it. So it's pretty easy to get to when it's not in the car. So you gotta take the water passage off. It's what the water pump sits on, right? Mm-hmm. So the water pump sits on. So you gotta take that off in order to get to this, or do you have to? You have to, right? Yeah, you have to. So you have to take that off to get to this. It's under that. And then you also gotta replace, you don't have to replace, but we're gonna replace this off. There's an O-ring on here, on the back of the water passage. And this is the only thing that's keeping coolant that keeps the coolant out of the engine, right? The oil over here. So we got a different VTC gear as well. The one that's on the TSX is only a 25 degree, and then the one that's on the RSX is a 50 degree. It looks kind of the same, but I guess it's got a better potential and stuff, and we're gonna replace it anyway. It says it's known to have problems or something, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're gonna be taking it off He said you usually take the cam off to take it off, but so that's all that is, it looks like.
There's a pin in here. That's what you shear off if you don't hold the cam correctly. If you go to loosen it, you shear that pin off and then you need a cam.
Okay. So make sure you got a wrench on here, that way the cam isn't moving. That way you don't shear the pin off while you're trying to take this off.
You can wrap that piece of shit back up. Put it back in the box with your bolt and put it in your pile of trash to never be used again.
I forgot to mention too, but you got to remove this timing, or not this timing cover, but this guide to get access to removing it, obviously. So manual says apply oil, so we're just using old drain oil.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. That's a better approach to that, huh? So it's easier to take the cam out. Not easier to take the cam, but that's how it's meant to be taken out, right? Take the cam out and doing it.
Cam and vise.
So you put the cam in a vise, I guess, but we did it that way, obviously, as you can see.
So now the cams are at top dead center, and then your crank, it will be a mark on the crank. You see the arrow that somebody painted yellow?
Yep.
At the factory. So, and the arrow there need to line up.
Okay.
So see those two? So now the crank is at top dead center, and the cams are at top dead center.
Because these two are the...
So those two lines line up. I mean, I just put the pins in because that's how you're supposed to do it. And then this arrow and that arrow line up. So you got your cams at top dead center, and your crank at top dead center. So then you can put your chain on.
104.4 inch pounds. So you just use this when it's like smaller than like 15 foot-pounds?
Now you just go through and double check them after you're done. Okay, you see how two of these are black? Yep, the other two are black, and then that one that's not black, or that is black down there singly. So you can disregard these orange ones, because I put those on next, I wasn't sure if it had the link marks. So these two will go on here like this. See how that is right between the two? This is between the two.
Okay. And the rest will
That's
be
where the
on.
flashlight comes in handy, so you can actually fucking see. So you see how those two black marks? Two black marks. So then I usually start by putting that one on there, because that's the hardest one to see. So put your black mark on there with the line. You see it? Let's go behind this. And keep tension on this. Hoop this up here like this. I can't see up here now. Yeah, and this guy swings in, and then that should be held. You sure that's still on the dot?
Well, I'm not gonna be able to tell because the dot's inside, so. Yeah, it is.
Okay, grab your tensioner. This piece pushes right on here.
It's gonna be hard to see, but there's two darker chains on the link here. You're not gonna be able to tell, but it's like subtle enough to where you can see it in person. You just line that up, those two in the middle of this dot. So this is gonna be the VTC gear that we got, the 50-degree one. That's off the Type S. And then yeah, same thing on this gear. You just line up, there's gonna be a hole or a circle right there, and then you find the two darker chains, and then you put them in the middle of there. And then it's gonna be the same thing on the bottom, except there's just one. It's a little harder to see, so we put a paint mark on it. And then on this one, it's gonna be a little circle on the inside. You just put this between the circle. Pretty straightforward, but. And then for the tensioner, In order to relieve the pressure, you put it in like a vise, and then you get this little clamp here just to hold it. You put like some sort of pin in just so it holds the tension down. That way you can obviously get the chain tensioner on with it being compressed.
So, and this puts all the slack on this side of the chain.
Okay.
So then when you pull this pin out, it'll put all the tension on here. And the cams we obviously know because we pinned them in the back. The cams didn't move. But see how that's lined up? The cams are obviously in place. So as long as that's like that, this is, so you pull that pin out, it puts tension on the chain. Good, done.
We didn't elect to replace the chain because it didn't have much wear on it. You can tell by how much tension or how far the tensioner is up. It wasn't very worn at all. So we elected not to replace it as it was, I think it was like $200 or something like that. So it was pretty expensive for a chain. So we elected not to change it. We obviously changed the oil pump chain because that one came with the kit. So in order to keep your two cams up top or your two gears up top in time without having them move, we put these special pins in. I'm not exactly sure where to find them or anything, but all you do is take a wrench that fits the cam, wiggle them all in there. There's going to be a hole right here the pin goes in, and that just keeps it so the cam doesn't move. And the same thing on this side too. So just like that. And then same as we use that pin for the bottom for the tensioner, same kind of thing.
Those are special Honda tools, that's why.
Special Honda tools.
Those are from the dealer.
Looks like somebody made this in jail. So we got everything torqued down. I'm gonna show you guys the torque specs, everything right now. So for the oil pump, the 3 bolts that holds it on, so the 112 and then the 2, can't remember, 14, something like that. These two are gonna be 16 foot-pounds right here, and then the 112 is going to be 8.7. So we actually ended up using it in inch pounds, or inch pounds instead of foot-pounds because it's just more precise and it's harder to get accurate when you're getting that small. So we use that for that guy. And then for the oil pump tensioner, that's going to be this guy here with the guide on it. That's going to be the 3 bolts here. I think they're all 10 or 12. It's going to be 8.7 foot-pounds. Again, we use that in inch pounds, and that was 105 inch pounds. And then with the baffle, it's going to be 6 12 millimeters along the side here, and those are all going to be 8.7 or 105 inch pounds if you're using that. The chain tensioner is going to be the guy we put in the vise. It's going to be 8.7 foot-pounds, or it's 105 inch pounds. It's going to be this guy here, these two 12 millimeters. And then the chain guides, it's going to be the one that the tensioner is hitting right here. It's going to be 1 Allen bolt, and it's going to be 16 foot-pounds, this 1 Allen bolt. And then this other guide on this side, it's got 3 12 millimeters, and that's going to be 8.7 foot-pounds or 105 inch pounds. And then yeah, the upper chain guide is going to be right next to the VTC gears up here by the cams. It's going to be 112 and then the longer stud 12. They're both going to be 16 foot-pounds. And then yeah, pretty much that's it for the K20 oil pump. It's all pretty much in. All we got to do now is put on like just the timing cover back on. We're going to plan on doing it a different day because apparently when it's colder out, it's not the best time to put the Honda bond out, and it's not very warm here. It's actually snowing currently, so Wisconsin stuff. So we're actually not gonna put that on today because I guess the Honda bond won't seat that very well when it's cold. So we're gonna do it a different day, but it's pretty straightforward. Like we said, just clean off all the surfaces here. So all the old Honda bond, take all that off with a die grinder or whatever you plan on using, Scotch-Brite, whatever. And then that'll make a better surface for the Honda bond to seat on there. But yeah, pretty much other than that, everything else is just gonna be like putting new seals in. And past that, timing's all done, it's all timed. You can see everything's all lined up, we're all good. Last thing we gotta do is put the timing cover back on, which we're gonna do a different day when it's warmer. We'll probably put that on with everything else that needs Honda bond. But yeah, other than that, we got the RBC intake manifold. This is actually one we're going with, is the RBC. I was thinking about going with RBB, but the RBC is just a better drop-in intake for the K24. So we ended up getting the RBC with the throttle body adapter, because you cannot use the K24 throttle body because it's a electronic throttle body, and the RSX is a cable throttle body system, so you need a cable to run on your throttle body for that. So you can't even use the TSX K24 throttle body, even though ours was messed up anyway. So yeah, that's that. That's it for the timing video, and we'll be back with you guys next video for whatever else we'll be doing. But we have a lot of stuff still yet to do. Just putting, we got they've got the most part of it done now. The K20 oil pump is on. Got the intake on now. So the RBC is on, and all the rest of it's going to be just connecting up. Everything else is going to be going in with the RSX. So we got to take off the engine from the trans now. So we got two dollies, and we got a crane actually now. We bought a crane to pick it all up. That's the next video. So adios, motherfuckers.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful, cause they try to